Hi everybody, welcome back to YouTube. I'm Doug Miles. This next interview is one I did with Fred Travalena, the great comedian, singer, and impressionist. I've had a chance to talk to Fred a couple of times on my radio program here in Sarasota, and he's always entertaining. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more interviews of mine here on YouTube. Going to get right to our first guest. He's been with us before. He was with us a couple of months back, and he'll be performing in our area throughout the state of Florida over the next month or so. Of course, you'll know him from his work on television. Great comedian, singer, and impressionist. Has a CD out. We're going to play a cut from that a little bit later on called The Manhattan Christmas Suite. Joined now by the great Fred Travalena. How are you, Fred?
Hey, I'm doing fine, Doug. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to talk to you again. I know you were just down in our area, but you're going to be coming back again, aren't you, performing around the state?
I'm coming back during the month of January and this month, and next month I'm doing what they call the condo circuit down there, and it's about my third time doing it. You do it like every 2 years, and there'll be like 22 places that I'll be doing my shows at, so I'm really looking forward to being down there.
Well, that'll be fun. Yeah, I know that condo circuit is popular. So what is that, all throughout the state? On the other side or both sides, west and east?
It's on both sides.
Both sides,
and
okay.
That's what makes the difficulty is crisscrossing. Sometimes you got to do that. Not a lot, but it's still, you have to do it.
It's like the old days riding the bus, right?
Riding the bus, riding the horses,
That's it.
one horse open sleigh, whatever it takes.
Great audiences, though, aren't they?
They're wonderful audiences.
Yeah.
And, they have a lot of Jewish and Italian people in these audiences, so I can do some of the impressions that started me out, like Myron Cohen.
Oh, yeah.
Who they know down there, and Jackie Mason, Jackie Mason's a big one, talking about these places at the hotel and the car. What's the matter with these people? I don't understand it. And Myron Cohen used to talk like this, "Hello, Doug, how's everything?" So
I remember watching him on the Sullivan Show. He was great.
Oh, yeah.
Myron Cohen. He would take maybe 10 minutes to tell one story, but all along the way. It was great, though, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine named Arnold Weisberger is no longer with us, but he wrote me a great line that gets a laugh everywhere. Myron Cohen at the signing of the Declaration of Independence. He says, "Mr. Hamilton, I don't co-sign for nobody."
He was great. He put out a couple of albums, which I had on LP, where he just told these great stories.
Yeah, I'm trying to find mine.
I have them somewhere, but you can't play them on anything anymore. I hope they have them on CDs, but they were great stories he told. Yeah, those are great. You did the Sullivan Show a couple of times, didn't you?
I never did the Sullivan Show.
You didn't? I thought maybe you did at the tail end of it.
I just the tail end of it, and I did the first show of the show that replaced Sullivan, and strangely enough, it was called Saturday Night Live, from the very theater that they do that show, but it was hosted by Howard Cosell.
Oh, of course, I remember that show, sure.
Yeah. It lasted about 2 minutes, and Howard was very upset because he lost his toupee trying to find the door.
I remember the Bay City Rollers. They tried to recreate the Beatles' excitement. Remember that group?
Oh, yeah.
Premiered on his show, and it didn't take off, obviously.
But, here they are, the Bay City Rollers. Yeah, right. Here's your 3-minute egg. Thank you.
That's right. Was that show live like Sullivan, too? They said it was. It was live, yeah.
It was live. And I did a joke that, of course, you shouldn't have done on national television, but I have a way of doing that. I did Gerald Ford saying, "I'm safe, squeaky farm," and you hear, and I fell down.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I did.
Well, nowadays you probably could and be like irreverent and edgy, but back then I guess you couldn't do that,
yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, because it's it's people don't realize, but back then when I was starting out, you couldn't make fun of the president.
No.
Okay, if people were very until Watergate exposed some of the darker sides of the White House. That was like off ground.
I know Bob Hope probably got away with a little bit more than other comedians, but he never really hit hard.
He'd never really hit hard, and I talked to him about that. I said, "Bob, you've transitioned all these presidents, from Hoover on." I said, "How do you do a thing like that?" He said, "I got to tell you, kid." He said, "They don't know if I'm a Democrat or Republican, huh?" He said, "Don't become a politician if you're a comedian. Go vote in the booth, and that's it." I said, "Okay."
Don't you miss his Christmas shows when he went overseas, watching those great old shows?
I loved him, and he was very good to me. I worked with him many times, and I had the honor of, in this VIP audience of all of Hollywood, as you can imagine, they picked 9 people to get up and speak at his memorial service, and they asked me.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was quite an honor.
He was still sharp. I saw him up at the Westbury Music Fair when he was in his mid-80s, I guess, and he was still sharp as ever till I guess he hit about 90. Then he slowed down.
Yeah, then it kind of went downhill. But he was very sharp up until that point.
Yeah.
I was with him, and it was almost like overnight. He went to the Persian Gulf.
Right.
He did shows there, and then he came back, and all this stuff started happening to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he didn't drink the Cokes over there.
That's right. But his regular nightclub act or theater act was great. I mean, like he said, he told the old jokes, from vaudeville days. It was great.
Yeah, and he did that thing that they all did. Burns did it, Jack Benny did it, and he did it, where they had this vamp.
Yeah, right.
Dun, 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 and it would stop. Okay, just dun, 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 dun. 2 guys walk into a store, huh? Right. and then they would go into a joke. George Burns would do dun, 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 dun. I came home last night and Grace was making a pot of soup, right? And then Benny would do da 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 da. I told Rochester not to do it,
That's right. I think George Burns probably the best at that. I've seen clips on TV of him doing that. I never saw him live, but on TV with that. I guess it was the old lamb chop sketch is what that was, right?
Oh yeah,
he'd go music, and then they'd dance, and then he'd go hold it, and then they do the bit,
Yeah, hold on. I worked with him a lot, and I used to pump him for stories. And I said, well, so what? Give me another story. So I won't make this too long, but it's a funny story.
No, go ahead.
Okay. He says, Fred, he said, Jack always was nervous whenever he had to renegotiate his contract. He said, so I found out he was at Chasen's with all the guys talking about it. So I rented the big limo. I pulled across the street. And when he came out, I told the driver to beep the horn. And keep on beeping the horn until he got his attention. He said, so I get his attention. One of the guys says, you can go over there. That's George Burns. You can go over there. He said, so he walked over to the car, and I drove away.
That's great. I know he told another one where he, I guess, took a piece of lint off of Jack Benny's jacket or something, and then he sent it to him in a wrapped box or something, and Jack Benny would just fall on the floor. Dumb stuff like that would make Jack Benny laugh, that George Burns
he was at the Truman White House, and Jack Benny said, I'm not sitting near you because you make me laugh, and I'm not going to laugh at the White House with Truman's daughter singing. So he sat in front of George Burns, and as soon as she started singing, he leaned over in his ear and he said, it would be a terrible thing if somebody started to laugh.
That's right. Oh, I mean, I miss them. I mean, I obviously wasn't alive in the heyday of them, but just to see them on TV back in late '60s and throughout the '70s was great to see those guys.
Yeah, well, we were talking to Eddie Carroll, a friend of mine who does a tribute, the one-man.
Yeah, he was down here recently last year.
Yeah, it's a brilliant show, and we were sharing memories of those guys. I mean, him and I are way too young to be in that generation, but we certainly were at the tail end.
Yeah. Of
all these different things. And those guys were larger than life. They did not work blue. They never said the F word.
Mm-hmm.
And their timing came from 3, 4, 5 shows a day. Maybe they only did 10, 15 minutes, but they did that for years.